sake.
Okay. All right. Okay, great. All right, so thanks a lot. Apologies for the delay. This was actually a family friend, well, actually a distant relative, but who's above the age of my parents, 70 plus, but apparently very well connected in the Taiwanese political business world. Okay, so,
right. Okay. Wow.
So it's I was very it was like a on really short notice. Just happened. Actually, also our neighbor. So just got connected, and so yeah, I felt that I should probably learn.
Oh, I'm
from
sorry.
him.
I
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate that, and I'm sorry that I didn't.
Oh, it's fine. No, it's fine.
I could have just let you go on and do it. Do you know what I mean?
No.
I feel bad now.
No. But it's fine. Perfect. Because he actually is a neighbor living just one floor down from my parents' place. Although this is the first time I meet him in person. Okay, so.
Wow. Okay.
So, but anyway, the time has come up, but I do feel he's really experienced. I think also very well connected. So yeah, it's a good thing. Anyway, all right. So so maybe we can start sharing some wins. That's a win on my side. I don't know how these things will play out, but he was like invited to give speech at Taiwan's National Security Council.
Wow.
my previous university president is like his buddy. Like like I was just someone he could have been like a really political figure, but he chose, I guess, to be on like consulting route. That's I think what he chose to. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Okay.
Probably the better route, really. Let's face it. To be honest.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, any wins on your side?
Going to coach today.
Okay.
That's a win.
Okay.
It's going to be my week, basically. I'm just going to. I say it's going to cost me half a day to get down to London, half a day to get back, and then a full day in London. So, it's pretty much that's almost 3 days worth of work time. But that's cool because it gives me time to think and focus. So and then also I finished reading 10x is easier than 2x.
Okay. Wow.
So enjoyed that book. It was really insightful. It's really given me a lot to think about, particularly about unique abilities. Which this morning, prior to the call, and then in the 30 minutes. So I was literally just doing something for that, which is why I'm a couple of minutes late. Because it was just I'm just really questioning that.
Okay.
But it's a good. I'm questioning in context of a win. So yeah.
Okay. So you've been thinking about the unique ability perspective from 10x.
Yes.
Okay, I see. Okay. All right. And going coach.
Yeah. So coaches tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I think having that that day reserved before and after, even on the road, I think that's really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time to think. So.
All right. So So maybe I can share that my win. Okay, on this. Okay, so I actually I was sick for the whole day yesterday.
Oh dear. Sorry.
It doesn't happen often to me. Okay, you can probably see that I don't get sick often. Actually, last time probably was catching COVID, on my plane back to Taiwan. That was like half a year ago. And before that, probably, another half a year before any, I think serious sickness. So, but luckily it wasn't COVID. It was just a common cold, I think. But what I got from this is that, so it felt bad, it's kind of miserable. I slept many hours, like pretty much throughout the day. But kind of started to appreciate been thinking about something, which is Ari, right? The guy from Last Doing, right?
I've heard of him. I haven't read any of his stuff, but okay. I get he's yeah.
Right. He's the man who works only 1 hour per day. Okay. the quote unquote most efficient man.
So let me guess, you're moving your daily routine to 1 hour a day now. Is that it? Is that what you're going to tell me?
What happened is I got myself seriously thinking about, if I think, like these are all, I consider them gifts, the unexpected surprises in life. I think they all are lessons, one way or another for us.
Yeah.
Sometimes the lessons don't come in pretty package, but they are good lessons, and learning.
Yeah.
And what I sort of realize is that, when you are in such a scenario, when you are like maybe only 20% of your normal cognitive function, your capability, which is what happens when you get sick, right? How can you still function and move forward? Okay, what can you still do? And it became very clear to me, you can literally only focus on one thing. Okay, so I was starting to think about, what if I can start to live a life, with one thing in mind, in attention, in action. Okay, so that means having one single goal for the week, one single goal for the day, and basically what might that be like, and how, what will I be like, and that, right? So, and what I realized immediately is that this is actually something that will require thoughts and thinking and space for this, reflection for this. It's not something, if you're just busy with the current, the mundane, the everyday stuff, that you will be able to have. Because actually, I started to realize, the one thing thinking process is actually very, very strategic in itself. It's essential. I mean, it's kind of also the essentialism concept where, like, what is, if you can only do one thing, right? Let's say for today, let's say if we all have only one thing we can accomplish today, what would that thing be, right? Obviously, it has to be the most effective, the most productive thing, right? So it has to generate a lot of results, right? And also it cannot, it also means that when you choose this, you forgo everything else.
Yeah.
Right. In other words, you are willing to give up other things in order to make this happen. So that will make your criteria and filtering like highly, highly strategic, highly, like, so this is just something and because of this, I think, and the other win is I was doing the, okay, so let me, I think the action.
So how is that? Now, so how is that a win? The fact that you've just had the idea.
Okay, so the win is that I do want to implement this 1 goal per week and per day approach to life. Okay, like really just have one primary focus on a weekly and on a daily basis. So probably this is something, and to make this happen, I think creating a space, meaning actually more buffer time, more buffer day activity, is probably a necessity. Okay, I mean, free day also helps, but having more buffer day, I think it kind of feeds on one another. When you are too busy, having too many things to chase, you don't have the buffer time, the thinking time to actually strategize, right? But if you actually are strategic about your time use, then potentially you can create more time, free up more time to do even more thinking in terms of being strategic. Okay, so this is kind of, I guess the win is in recognizing this is important. I'm not saying I'm there yet. In fact, far from it. Compared to, I guess, my future self, my current self is still stretched too thin. Okay, compared to the future. But I think the important thing is being sick, and having realized that actually, although I was forced into trying to think of, like yesterday, literally, I was thinking, what's the one thing I could do today? Okay. like, and the answer was to sleep as much, to take as much rest as needed, so I could recover fully, as quickly as possible, as opposed to, still doing other things and maybe still be kind of sick. I would say, like, this morning when I wake up, I'm already like 90% recovered. Okay. And this tradition in the past, this might take 2 or 3 days or even longer. But literally I recover like within 1 day from a, relatively, kind of a, bad body condition. So, so all right. So that's the win. Okay. All right.
I think it's an admirable kind of goal.
Okay.
I can't think of another word, but.
Okay. I like the but. Okay.
Well, no, I don't like buts. I think buts buts kind of sit there and say, I've accepted what you said. Now I'm going to tell you why I don't think it works. That's what
right.
That's how I hear a but, right? That's what I think a but means.
That's fine, but I mean, feedbacks are good. Feedbacks are good. Yeah.
I think okay, like, look, your life is your life, and I'm listening to what you say and your ideas, and I think, okay, is that something that I can implement? How does that? What does that look like to me? And
okay.
And I don't know if that's an incredibly selfish way of looking at things, but I always relate everything that other people say to me to my own life, and like, from their wisdom, am I able to apply their wisdom to my own existence? And I because one wants to improve all the time, right? So can one do it? I kind of the concept I don't disagree with. I agree with.
Okay.
I think the practical application, for me, I could conceive that happening when I've achieved more than what I have done. To apply that today, just one thing. I mean, for me, there was a revelation well, not a revelation. I've heard it, but it just, at the end of 10X, he goes into doing your 3 core activities for the day.
Right.
So your 3 things that you want to get done today, don't have more than 3. But once you've done them, that's it. You've done your day.
Right.
And your buffer days are your days. And so he gave some better clarity on that, because so far it's just been, you've got to do buffer days. But actually, he gave the history of where. Have you read this part of the book yet?
I think I went through 10X. I think a couple of times. But the different drafts. The latest draft, one time. I haven't gone through, but I recall when the day is done, it's done. I recall that part.
So it's just what the example that he gave is when Dan was working in the theatre, he would have there would be a time for performance, and there would be a time for preparation, and then there would be a time for rejuvenation. And so when they've applied that to the idea of athletes performing in, let's say, I think they use basketball is quite a common thing. It started to make more sense to me, because it's like the performance is the 90-minute game, or the performance is the play. The game might take 90 minutes, right? So, and indeed, if you're an actor in a play, the play might last for 90 minutes, but you might only be on stage for, I don't know, 15 to 30 minutes of that 90 minutes, depending on the type of play, right? And so your whole performance is in that time slot there. And the preparation that you do for that, or when if you're playing basketball and you're playing a basketball game that lasts, I don't know, half an hour, then that's it. You're there to prepare for those moments. And the amount of dedication that comes into these elite guys, not just the average guys, but the guys who are, I don't know anything about basketball, but they name these guys like LeBron or somebody like that. I don't know who he is. But these guys that spend their entire life just focusing in on what needs to be done just to perform at that level. And I just find it interesting because I started relating. So on Thursday, or no, Friday afternoon, I had a call with a guy. He's a wealth guy. He has 19 HMOs in one city in the UK. Now, an HMO is when you rent the room by room by room. They're much more complicated than just renting a house. And you can have, for it to be of any reasonable turnaround, you need at least 5 rooms. So he's probably got, 100, at least 100 tenants, okay, that he's managing. So that means he's got quite a significant experience in terms of property. And then he's got family wealth kind of things, and he does investments. And basically, we met via LinkedIn. He said, "Do you want to have a chat?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And he goes, "Well, what do you reckon? What can you do?" And I told him about JCF, and I could just see as I was talking to him, he was like, it was just his whole facial expression was, I'm not understanding this. I said, "It looks like you're not really getting this, are you?" And he kind of went, "No, I don't. I'm not being disrespectful. I just don't understand it. It's too risky. What crypto is just, And it was an interesting thing. And on reflection, having completed the book, because I hadn't completed the book, I realized, did I do any buffer time? Did I do any preparation for that? Did I make myself ready for that 30 minutes of performance? The answer was no, right? So, and then it gets into, in your preparation for if you've got a unique ability. So let's for argument's sake say sales is my unique ability. I'm not sure that it is, but let's assume that. Then how much preparation do I do for those moments of when I'm actually pure selling? And therefore my focus days have to be, if my unique ability is selling, my focus days have to be selling, and therefore all the other days have to be preparation, understanding the product, and so on and so forth. It just made me start breaking it down. And so why is that relevant to us? I think there was some learning out of Friday's thing, and another guy from LinkedIn, another family kind of investor, not interested. It's just they don't get it. Now, on the other hand, there are so many people out there who are so keen to understand crypto. So Olga went on, has been, we've because of our connection with these guys, these property guys, we were introduced to somebody who's a king of crypto sort of thing, right? And he's got a training package. And as I was waiting for Olga was waiting to go on a webinar at 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, I think it was. The warm-up guy was saying, "Okay, so let's have some interaction. It's wonderful to be here. Everything's truly amazing. Rah, 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 rah. Where are you from? Hey, Barry, you're from Australia. Oh, Glenn, you're from Nigeria. Oh, we've got Rodney, you're in the United States. Oh, hello from London. Hello." And it just made me realize, bloody hell, there are people from all over the world, coming to this webinar to listen to this guy talk about crypto, to give them, it was called a masterclass, right? I just thought, geez, that's marketing. That's, if we had that level, right, and then we were pitching JCF to them, it's kind of like, it would take away such a lot of pain for them. And those people, those retail investors who have got maybe $10, $15, $20,000 to invest, that's kind of like, that's a nuanced market right there. That's an avatar. And I was kind of a little bit jealous of their scope, their marketing. Oh, by the way, and they were saying that they're going to start a fund as well. So But I'm not too bothered about that because. But I guess I'm telling you all of this because this is experience from last week, and I'm sorry, Shunyun, I'm just downloading stuff. I'm not really.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really talking to you about giving you any feedback. I beg your pardon.
Hold on a sec. I think it's, sorry, is this, is my screen? I think it's kind of, is it sluggish on your end as well?
Yeah, you got a lot of lag.
Okay, all right. All right, let me do this. It could be the cell phone. Let me switch. Is this better now?
Yep. I don't know. I mean, you're back.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I apologize for that. I think it's my phone just hot out. Okay. All right. So yeah.
Because I've had some time to think, I realized what I was trying to say is that the reason why I started going off on one about that is that was learning. And I think from the point of view of doing your one goal a day, one goal a week, I just see that there are so many things to accomplish within what we've currently got that we would need to be further down the line, certainly from my point of view, to be able to contemplate achieving just the one goal a day kind of thing, because of so many things to get to that position.
I see.
That's why I started talking what I was telling you about. And okay, there you go.
All right. Okay. Thanks. I think that's a very natural. I think feeling. Same for me. Okay. Like I have so many things to do. How can I make it one thing? Right. I guess one. But this is something I can share maybe a bit. Is I'm not saying I know the answer to this. Okay. In fact, this is something I will still continue to spend time to think. But I think the idea is actually not to take just, pick one of the things that we're doing, okay, and make that the one thing. It's more like, is there something if done that will make everything, easier or irrelevant? Okay, kind of the essentialist thinking, right? So In fact, it could be like maybe something in the front of the domino, like once it falls, then everything will sort of fall behind that, right? So just for example, like us getting 1.5 million in funding, right? That could be like a one thing event, right? And obviously one can argue there are a lot of other tasks to do before that event happens, right? But then again, the question becomes, what's the one thing that can help us to reach that goal easier, faster, and maybe even make other efforts easier or relevant, right? So for example, I don't know, I'm just throwing this off the, like, know some really rich guy, wealthy individual and be a good friend, right? or maybe, I don't know, I'm just throwing out some, or, like really become the friend, let's say, of Elon Musk best buddy, something like that, right? So I mean, but however, once you start, I think the key is once we start to look at things from this perspective, you start to realize that not all the tasks, not all the things, not all the doings are necessary, and they're not all equal. I think that's the key, right? And I think it's also the process of continuously trimming down. Like the 80-20 tells us 20%, create 80% of results. One thing is really applying this process continuously and rigorously, like over time, until you really narrow down to a single focus, right? So
yeah,
right. So
I agree. I just find it really difficult because the difference between IncomeSec and JCF is IncomeSec has some level of income that it can afford to pay for some of the 80%.
Right.
So for instance, here's an example I've been contemplating this morning, right? The bookkeeping is done by an external firm. Credit control and invoicing and follow through and all that kind of accounting is done by me. I don't like doing that sort of stuff.
Okay.
I like sending people invoices because I know that it means that there's money coming in, right?
Right.
But there's a limited enjoyment into it, and I mean, there have been examples where I forgot to invoice people for thousands of pounds, right?
Okay.
Almost £10,000 for one guy, and another guy, another company, I waited six months for payment. Now, if I had the same company that does the bookkeeping to do all of that, and then keep my accounts in order, and make sure the bank statements are up to date, and then doing the VAT, I wouldn't think about it. All I would do is every quarter look at the reports, or every week, or every month, whatever I wanted, right?
That's right.
But the point is, IncomeSec can afford to pay them to do that, which will bring about a time saving for me to focus on my 20%. The challenge you and I have with JCF is we've got no money. We've got no money to pay Joy, to pay Nick, to pay whoever. We've got no money to get these 80%ers en route. And this, I think, is it doesn't stop the logic of 20%, 80%, 10x, 2x, who not how, and all the rest of it. That's the learning that we've got, and that's the learning that we want to put into practice, and to whatever our scope of we can put into practice. And I think your domino statement is very, very accurate. We do need that initial domino, to that initial bit of energy, that kinetic energy, which will push that domino forward, and then everything else will start falling. But I absolutely agree with that, 100%. I think it'd be interesting to see how we can find that, and whether or not that's something that we should be focusing on, and not focusing on all the other stuff.
Right, exactly. All right, so that brings us to today's topic, right? So I guess, is there
okay.
any topic you'd like to discuss for today? I think that's a nice, introduction to.
I think the observations that I've made from last week, I think, are interesting.
Okay.
I think certainly. What was I going to say? certainly the way. Okay, so we've I guess an update of where we are on the stuff that we spoke about, JCF's goals. I think I'd like to know what happens with the wealth ICO. I mean, what happened there? Out of all of that, I mean, I know that at least 3 or 4 people said that they had signed in. What are the results? Have they been given anything? What has anybody come in? So it'd be nice to see the results on that.
All right. Okay.
And then I think the third thing is just what are our next steps for JCF based upon the goals of JCF? So maybe deal with wealth first and then go to JCF, because then there's a follow through of what we've achieved for JCF and then what we're going to do next for JCF.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So that's the two. For me, it's a couple of. One is probably related. Okay, on the strategy part. Okay, the implementation of the strategy part is something like to maybe have some feedback on. The other is I talked with Animal Co-brands. You know about this?
That really pissed me off. Wasn't in my diary. Really pissed me off. I wanted to be on that call.
Right.
I knew it.
I thought
it was
you
sitting
are
in the
because,
back of my hand.
Yes,
Head,
I thought because it was sent. Invitation was sent to you. I think probably through the myq@jcf.world link.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
I don't check that every day. So
I see. Okay.
My calendar is basically the income set calendar.
All right. Yeah. Sorry about that. I think obviously one learning from that is well use other venues to double check and make sure it's on calendar. Okay. Next time.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do like to update a bit on that and maybe discuss about, like what are potential synergies, I guess, okay, with that. Okay,
Yeah.
So let's discuss your part first, okay? Okay, so JCF, the ICO wealth, okay, so first off, this is something I think I like. I think probably some people have registered. Okay, but in terms of the, I can maybe. Okay, let me just check because I do have the access to the backend now regarding if anybody has registered and submitted for KYC. Okay. This is, you can see it live. Oh yeah, and by the way, JCF name is in position. I don't know if you're aware of that. Just over the weekend.
I saw. Yeah. We took a.
It's right now that, so, okay. So, all right. So right now there's one person from Taiwan who has, gone through the KYC. Okay, and probably that's the. Okay.
Not your mother, is it?
So this is someone, I don't think I know her. So this is obviously someone, okay. Okay, so there is someone who has passed the KYC now. Okay. So, I mean, there's one submit for the KYC process. And
well, that's 100% increase, isn't it?
there hasn't been any international, okay, but yeah, it's a Taiwanese, okay, so
well, that's weird. Why is it that I've got 2 people, one from AMP Gold and one from AMP Platinum? No, actually, well, 2 from AMP Platinum, so 3 people have all said that they tried to register or they registered.
Right, but
one from Canada, okay. One from America, one from Australia.
Okay, I'm not sure if it's stuck at the registration, I guess the account registration process, but I'm wondering, would it be all right to invite them to the Telegram group, and then we'll have the, the custom support, the support staff also on there. So to just clarify what's wrong, right? That might be easier, and also to start build a community, right? That's something we already have a Telegram channel, right? And I think community is right. You start one by one, and with like-minded, trust, people who like us, who trust us, we start from here. So I would suggest.
I've lost your volume, your sound.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, it drops out every now and then. Yeah.
Okay. I was saying that just invite them to the Telegram and then just see what's wrong with the I guess the registration or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So
let's do that. Okay, fine. I'll send a message out today to those three individuals. And just but I need to know what's the Telegram link. Okay,
the Telegram is let's see, let me pin you there.
Frozen.
It's that's one actually. I think Coit has helped us to create it. Let me just client service. Let me pin you here. All right. Can you see it? It just oh. So let me see if you're here though.
No, I'm not on it.
Oh, you're not? So Joy is here actually. All right. Let me. Okay. Okay, you just been invited. See if you're in there.
Oh yeah, client service. Yeah. It's all in Chinese, eh?
Yes, but it should be the okay. So we should probably get Nick here as well. Okay.
Oh, share link. Okay, so at JCF service. Okay, that's easy then, isn't it?
Yeah, this should be the service channel. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the client service channel. So oh, sorry, this is the client service. So that should be the I think that should be the one that's doing troubleshooting. And then we do have another is the community channel. Oh,
so this is the service channel, right? Not the community channel.
Not the community. It's weird because I thought you guys were all joined, but only Joy is here. But let me also add Nick to it. Okay, all right. So now everybody should be there now. Okay. So you should see my hi in the community channel, right?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, yeah. All
got
right.
It.
So yeah, I guess if it's like troubleshooting, probably the client service. What do you think? We have a client service for troubleshooting for service related.
Yeah, I'll send those three guys the links to both the community and the service, and I'll explain the difference between the two.
Okay.
I'll get that to them today. So that's good. Okay. It just struck me that we've done something, and I've not got any visibility of what the return is. What we've put in some effort. What have we got out of it? Okay, so we've got one person that's signed up who's gone through KYC. That's 100% increase, which is fantastic. We just need to start building on that. And I suppose, and also the other thing then is that we've got the community of the wealth ICO, which is different to JCF. So, okay, so now I understand that. That's cool. We can move that forward. So I'm good with that because I don't think there's much else for us to do with wealth. I suppose the next thing is whether or not the people that join JCF Wealth and have gone through KYC actually want to invest in that, or whether or not they want to invest in JCF Main. So that's another thing.
So
for me, go on.
Okay. No. I was just saying that I guess from my mind, the key is to get any investors that are, that are interested to put some money, right, to get them on board, and I guess to basically get their engagement that they are willing to support, right, and also take part in this experiment, because this is what we are, moving forwards. So I thought maybe some kind of potential investor community engagement is something we want to, start to, start to do. This is something I think Joy potentially is something we would like her help, would like her assistance for this. But okay, so this brings me, I guess, to the next topic, or related to strategy as well. Okay, maybe also tied to your what's next for JCF. Okay, so I actually would like to ask you, are there any specific things you'd like to discuss about next step for JCF? What I'm Okay. Are there particular things you'd like to discuss?
No, go on. You were still mid-sentence.
Okay. My thinking, for example, in terms of the strategy part, this is what I have been thinking, is we still want to make things moving forward, right? Even if Nick might be busy or occupied, we still want things to move forward regardless of what's happening. And part of that might be to start to, for example, ask Amit to start to implement some strategy, okay, based on what's currently available, that he can already sort of, like simple things, and just make it done, and potentially get some, it may not be maybe as good as what they can offer, but something that, that basically can also work. Okay, this is what I've been thinking. Just try to move things, towards that.
Yeah.
And this is one line of thinking. But this is where I want some feedback, though. Whether this is sound or am I missing something? The other is also related to Joy, right? Also, I think due to different circumstances or whatever reason, she hasn't been able to, resume or to currently to contribute. What can we do, right? In light of this, right? To still continue to move forward. Are there still small things we can still continue to move things forward? Kind of like the tiny habits thinking. Okay, because people, they like to see progress. When progress are stale, then people start to lose interest, and you want to kind of build momentum for things. So yeah, and for example, right now there's actually been good momentum regarding the development front, which is the wealth funding part is about to ready. This is the contract is there right now. It's integration, so we're expecting to do a test this Thursday. Okay, and when that's verified, that means the wealth system is basically online in terms of you can put USDT to your wallet in exchange for wealth tokens. Okay, so that's that. And also, this is another update, and I guess win, is that I talked with Sonny last week, and he confirmed that for next stage, it's actually possible to migrate the current JCF name as part of wealth.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
So that's that means we will have a working system with users on wealth already. Okay. And what's even better is that so what this means is wealth will be managing not just JCF name, but also any future ICOs, that can. And also, he also confirmed that he probably will just do some minor addition. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, Mike? Can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, you're back. Yeah,
okay,
you froze.
Okay, okay.
I don't know. I'm just doing a speed check to see if it's me. I don't think it is, but.
Okay. So can you hear now?
No, it's not. It's not me. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely not.
All right. So good.
Okay.
Continue.
So JCF. So JCF main can be migrated or will be migrated onto JCF Wealth. And therefore, we've got a platform that's got active users and da.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
That's
awesome.
And also not just that. Also, the JCF main functions of invitation referral that can also be added in, completed.
Right.
And what that means is that this will be capabilities also available immediately to any other ICOs on Wealth. Okay, because it's going to be a Wealth capability, you see. And also with just some small changes, because actually in the process of migrating JCF main to Wealth, Wealth will become a functional smart contract ICO generator. Okay, because it's kind of like JCF main is the first test case of using the generator function.
Awesome.
Okay. So that's fantastic. That means once JCF main is migrated successfully, we can easily create a second or third, the funds given parameters. Okay, and it can operate somewhat differently, but it will have fully the same capability as the current JCF main function, the main fund.
Right. So technically, we can do what we say we want to do, right? Which is
even
JCF
without the
main.
funding.
Well, however, what we need to make it really valuable to other people is the community and the ability to go out to the tens of thousands of individuals that want to invest. Right. Okay. So that means then our focus is not it's not the technology isn't there. It's the technology is there. We just need to then formulate the marketing strategy.
Exactly.
And I think this is really exciting because now we've got. So I can actually see there's progress here because for a while I was getting a little bit disheartened because I couldn't understand where the progress was. We've had some great ideas and we've conceptualized and brought
now can you see it? Now can you see it?
Yeah. I'm beginning to see now. But so you can tell by my body language now I'm a bit more animated, right? So what does Nick and what does Joy feed off of, right? It's our enthusiasm and our understanding. And we've painted a great idea. Now we need to convey to them, look, this is what we've done. Since we've been speaking to you in the last couple of weeks, we've done this, and this. That means then that we're now ready to do this, and this. Okay. So this is where and we need to be clear about what we want from them as well. So we made it very clear to Nick, look, Nick, can you give us at least the structure of your ideology of how to, and then we can formulate that. All right.
Okay.
On that then, so one of the things that he said is part of his strategy is a buy and hold.
Right. Okay.
One of the things that I've done, because Olga and I were taught to do this, right? And then this is a really very, very low impact, passive investment strategy. Is that every week we buy a bit of Bitcoin. We just buy a little bit every week.
Right.
Doesn't matter. It automatically happens.
Right.
So money goes from my current account into my Binance account, and it purchases Bitcoin. So far, right? Just doing that, I've worked out. I've got, I think it's something like 150 to 200% ROI since May. So in 9 months, it's massive growth.
Okay. Right. Okay.
And I think part of what Nick was talking about was doing something similar. I mean, he also has this whole thing as, whatever it is, 20 or 40 day moving averages, and indicators to go down to sell and indicators to buy, which I don't think are too dissimilar to what you've already put.
Okay, I see. All right. So let me just clear, because basically we already have a bullish strategy, which is the top 10 index, which currently is in the work, right? Which is currently already happening. What we wanted originally was a sort of a bearish market strategy. Okay, a bearish strategy. So what you just described is also quite valid. I think it's called the average.
Yeah, it's dollar weighted
There's
averaging.
a name for that. But yeah, dollar weighted averaging, yes. So are you suggesting that we just implement a dollar weighted averaging when it's
I don't think it would be
bearish?
I don't think it would be, well, when it's bearish, that's the best time to do it, because that's when you make your money. When it's bearish and it's going down, you're still buying, but you're only buying. I mean, honestly, I spend like $50. We're talking peanuts, right? This is not big money, right?
Right.
So we're just doing every week. I'm buying a small amount, but I don't care, because A, it's a small amount. B, if it goes down, I don't care, because I think it's going up anyway. And the more times that I buy when it's going down, the better it is, because when it goes back up again, I'll be making more money. Now, it might be that there is it might be that we start to understand that the market will say that a Bitcoin token will be at its lowest $9,000 and at its highest $40,000.
Right.
And it might be that over time, what we'll see is the true value of Bitcoin will sit somewhere there. Now, let's, for argument's sake, say that true value is $15,000, right? That's the true value of Bitcoin. So we know then that at some point we will know as traders that when it goes above that is the time to sell, because that's when the market is going, oh, it's going to go up to the moon. We then know that it will come back down again. And when it goes down below 15,000, we'll go, well, now's the time to buy, right? So that, Warren Buffett knows when, which time is up and which time is down, right? But I mean, it's about knowing what is the true value of a stock. So I'm just speculating here. This is just ideas, but in absence of that knowledge, I think buying and holding for long term based on dollar weighted averaging is an easy way to do it, and then you don't have to think about it. Now, I'm not saying that should be our only.
Yes,
no,
fully agree. Yes,
that could be one of many.
Right. Okay. I think the only question to answer is, well, it mixes well with an index approach when it's bullish. You see, because it's possible that when you're doing dollar weighted, it's going down, right? And you'll keep buying. But the expectation is that it will go up again, right? And you actually will recoup all the loss, right? And actually will become better. However, it's also a question of, I guess the question is, let's say it's going, bullish again, and we want to enter into the index top 10 position. Do you sort of sell off everything and just enter, or do you separate the dollar weighted average amount, versus the rest of your, let's say, your fund assets to go into position? Right? Do you see what I'm saying? Because
I do.
You want to make sure that you're always making some return, right? Even if it's a small return, but it has to be a safe and reliable return. And obviously, I think with dollar weighted average, you can see a definite point when it breaks even or you start to make a profit. I think that's also something that's clear.
Well, this is the interesting thing, though, Shinyan. I've taken how much I've put in to up to last week.
Right.
I've taken how much my actual chunk of Bitcoin is worth today.
Right.
How much I put in. Even if I can't even remember, but I might have put in a little bit to start with. But it's still, there's like 150 to 200% increase.
Right.
So and that's just since May. I mean, that's just, I think, a massive amount, really. 150 to 200 oats in 9 months. I mean, gosh, I'd be happy with that every day of the week.
Right.
I think to answer your question, though. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so we've got the bullish kind of algorithm. We've got the dollar weighted averaging, for want of a better term, process. I think, yes, keeping them separate would be a sensible thing to do, because then you've always got that. What dollar weighted averaging should do is, theoretically, over a long period of time, you've made a steady increase. So that's almost like your passive income kind of approach, or it's one way of getting a passive income. We just carry on going in that trajectory. This one here is going to have some highs and lows, and we accept that, because what we accept is that the highs are going to outweigh the lows when we go on that one. The other thing I think is interesting to note is, when we had Nick on the call, he decimated that top 10, top 20 approach, in that he went, well, you ignore these and these, because they're all kind of asset based, on par with the dollar. These ones I don't trust, these ones I don't trust, these ones I trust. What I got out of that call was effectively Bitcoin and Ethereum are the ones to choose from, not the whole top 10, because the whole top 10 is so full of unqualified cryptos that are successful, but that's purely because people are just speculating in a mad kind of gold rush way. So I think, from the terms of responsible investment, then we should only be investing in crypto that has some level of proven track record. But I mean, that's kind of, that's what I got from his call.
Right. It is. Though this is the part I have reservation about. Okay, because we're not talking about human judgment, and again, always, obviously human judgments are good, but you can also make mistakes, and also, I guess it's always human judgment. Even the decision to go index is also human judgment. It's just that how much human judgment do you want, and whether it's a one-time judgment or it's a continuous judgment, right? Like you have to do like every once in a while or every situation. I think the idea is that once you put human judgment, and not to say emotion, okay, as part of the package, then which is actually also why, like index funds outperform actively managed funds. You probably know the figures, right? And by
no, I don't. But
by significant, you know, okay,
right? No,
90% of the actively managed funds are less performer than index funds, particularly over long periods of times. In fact, the longer the time horizons you look at, let's say from 30, 40 years, very few actively managed funds are still competent against passively managed index funds. And that I did not know why, but now I know better. It's because, well, humans are not capable of making consistent good judgments over like if Warren Buffett is like probably the best, yeah, but
but on that point though,
it gets extremely hard.
No, I totally accept that, right? I totally accept that, with the caveat that you're comparing kind of tried and trusted exchanges and regulated funds and regulated shares and regulated businesses that operate within the conformity of current jurisdiction. The challenge that you have is you're overlaying a concept which performs perfectly well or better than from a regular into an unregulated, completely new kind of Wild West environment. And I think the fact that okay, so look, for instance, my experience of the Coco and their Alien Worlds token is absolute bullshit. It's just utter fallacy. You know, that basically the whole premise of play to earn games is that play the game and we'll give you a token. Well, and there's absolutely no value to it. Yet because they're on an exchange and some bunch of schmucks have sat there and gone, oh, well, this must be really good, so we'll put in a couple of million because we're going to speculate. It then creates this idea of some kind of generic value. But there is no value because there is no product. There is no service. The game is not a game, right? Which is why I think Space Mercenaries is really, really important, because it is a game. There is value to it, and it can generate, there are revenue streams that it can generate. So, but my point is then that Alien Worlds is now, it's gone from $7 at its peak to like 1 cent or whatever it is at the moment. Now, what that then means is that it's pretty much valueless. It's a penny share. But because they're printing their coins on a regular daily basis, it kind of doesn't matter because they can print as many as they want. And this is the whole thing about all of these different cryptos, is that they've sat there and said, well, we're going to print 1 million, 1 billion, 1 trillion, whatever. And that's it. And so this whole concept of scarcity that Bitcoin is supposed to deliver, which is what gives it its value, we're all of these guys in the top 10, I think, are on very, it's kind of like looking at these villages which are built on stilts, you know, and they live on a floodplain. But I don't think the crypto market is built in very strong foundations. And I think that's my caveat to the index fund.
Okay. All right. I'll feedback on this part. All right. Would it be all right? Okay.
Yeah, please do.
What I see is that, well, I guess the question here, the underlying question here is whether index can be applied for crypto markets or crypto trends, right? I think that kind of becomes the question, whether the index strategy will still work, right? Or maybe a modified form of index. In fact, JCF main right now, I would say it's not a full index approach. It's a modified index approach, because we do exit out, right, and keep cash when quote unquote times are bad. Okay.
Right.
So it is already modified. I have no issues to continue to modify or to improve, but I guess you know, I guess the fundamental question is actually whether we want to just, you know, I guess earn profit, you know, when the market is going up, regardless of whether it's good coins or bad coins. Okay, I see. Okay. Maybe the fundamental question is that, right?
Yeah.
Like my argument previously would be, you know, I don't really care, nor do I want to judge. Like, for example, like a long time ago, actually, when JCF was starting, when there was just one stable coin in the top 10, okay, which was USDT, there were the discussion and argument actually with the first co-founder of JCF. He felt that USDT is not to be trusted. It's fishy. So he wanted to exclude that, you know, from the top 10. Okay. And he has his arguments, meaning that he has his reason, which sound reasonable as well. Okay, right? Arguably, you know, you can argue they don't have as 100% collateral as they claim. Maybe their morals aren't up to a certain standards, etc. But for me, the question was, you know, like, do I want to judge every single, you know, like project? Like, do I want to do I want to do due diligence on each one of them, which takes time, effort, energy, and also judgment. Okay, which I think it's the, you know, and sometimes it's rational judgment, sometimes it's moral judgment or preferential judgment, right? So, I mean, and we all understand everybody has maybe different moral standards, right? So you can see how this can turn into a rabbit hole discussions, down the road.
Yeah, agreed.
Particular, right. So actually the decision was made then that we don't even exclude stablecoin. And look how many stablecoins now are in the top 10. Actually, three, at least three of them, right? Like three stablecoins, right? Which actually show the value of stablecoins, you see. And again, we don't really discriminate or remove them from the top 10 index because they're there for a reason, right? So I guess that's one argument. Yeah, go ahead.
So two things. One, just on the stable coin, the point is that we want to make a profit, right? And a stable coin is only going to be worth $1. So it's not going to be worth anything other than $1. So what's the point? Second thing then is, I think the concept of a fund, right? Anything that's in the top 10, it's fine. Do it. Then you don't think about it, and that's perfect, because the less you think about it, the better. I get that, and I agree with that. I think because the market is really volatile, one way of helping to mitigate the risk that comes with that volatility is understanding the background of the cryptocurrencies that we're investing in. And I think being able to illustrate due diligence is really important, because it becomes a fundamental kind of, we're saying we're going to be safe and accessible. Well, one of the things that you don't have to think about as an investor is the fact is, are you worried about the coins? Not only is it a fund mechanism, it's a modified fund mechanism that we do actually pay a little bit more attention to who's in the top 10, because we recognize the volatility of the marketplace. Ultimately, the end goal will be, when the market is stable and less volatile because it's full of reputable, however you want to measure that, coins, then it will be a complete, automated fund process. I think we're in the early stages of that at the moment, and I think it does require a modified approach today. I think today does require some level of judgment, and I think that it will resonate with people rather than just being completely automated and non-thinking. I do think the premise of a fund is better. I agree with you on that. I'm just reticent, or reluctant, I should say, to go all in on that because of what we see in the marketplace. And I think that I believe that to be based on wisdom, not based upon any particular. I mean, I'm very jaded with that, with the Coco and the play to earn game thing, because I just think it's inherently dishonest. And so, yeah, I have an opinion, a moral opinion on that, but I don't have a moral opinion on any of the other coins. I don't, because I don't know them.
Right. So this is, I think, also a good part. Besides, I mean, one can also argue, like, well, I have been given the feedback that they believe kind of Bitcoin is immoral. It's not moral because it's using so much energy, and because of that, you cannot do any like it's not social impact. It's not good, like it's not good for the planet. How right? You see, I mean, it's completely reasonable. Okay, I fully get the argument. Okay. But I guess, again, it's, but I also get your part about, like, there's a certain amount of due diligence we might want to do in order to basically make sure the security, that it's a value, it's a position we want to sort of establish, right? That it's a safe approach. So, okay, all right. I see this as potentially an ongoing discussion. Okay, so I think it's probably
and it's not actually.
Like
we're not actually achieving anything. I mean, it's interesting, but we're not achieving anything really from discussing it right now.
Right. All right. So I guess the one thing we can maybe make a decision is, should we implement dollar weighted average when JCF is out of position? You know, I think that's a decision we can make. Whether we see that.
I think we should set aside an amount, a percentage. So, you know, if we say that we want to have, and I'm just making these figures up, right? 10% of the fund should be based upon a dollar weighted average.
Okay.
And for that to work, then that means that every week we will buy a set amount of Bitcoin or Ethereum or both, right? And just keep it to those two, right? If we're going to do that, then we need to have the funds reserved to be able to do that on a weekly basis for the duration of a period of time, until such time as we have enough funds coming in to keep that reserve topped up. I don't know. I don't know if that's, we've got to do the maths to work out what will work and what won't work. And, perhaps, if we wanted to put $1,000 in every week, to both, on that, right? Okay. If we were to put $1,000 in every week, at the moment, it would take us 16 weeks to have one Bitcoin.
Right. That's right.
That's all thereabouts. Right, so that's not and to buy and hold that, I don't think there's any problem with buying and hold Bitcoin.
Right. And also there has to be decision judgment regarding when to sell it off, right? When to capture the profit, right? Because
one might argue you never do. You just hold that as an ongoing asset, and that just stays as an asset for the rest of for the duration. You don't necessarily need to sell it off, because ultimately, I suppose if you sat there and said, Mike, it's 500% profit if we cash it in today, that would be something worth considering. But I think the point about an asset is that becomes an asset of the organization.
Right. Mike, I see. I do have I do have a couple of feedbacks on this. One is I have no problems regarding design specific funds, okay, for specific strategies on top of the wealth platform. In fact, we can design various, using different strategies, purely dollar weighted average fund, like NFT funds, whatever strategy people will like, and people will invest by themselves based on their risk preference, whatever, trust your trust onto the fund manager. But I do want the main fund to stay, kind of simple and, predictable, understandable, in a sense that because main fund is going to be the largest fund, over time. So it has to adopt a really solid and a stable approach. And right now, I think index is a sort of proven approach that has been shown with some tweaks, right? But index has been shown to work effectively. So is dollar average, this is also being shown to work. I guess the question or challenge now is, how do we, mix into a strategy that will still make sense 5, 10, 20 years down the road, right? And surely it has to be anytime. It's an open fund, so it means that anytime people can invest and can withdraw, right?
Okay, that's another really interesting point. There is, do we want that? I know that's a premise that has always been the case,
right?
But if you look at funds across the board, regardless of where they're from, and I remember when I was 16, 17, I asked the bank about about investments, and they said, well, if you put it into this account, we'll give you 5% or whatever it was, but you're going to have to leave it there for 5 years.
Okay.
Now, at the time, I thought, that's bonkers. Why would I want to do that for such a small amount of return on investment?
Right.
Okay. But the point is, it is traditional and understood that if you invest and you get a guaranteed return, then you've got to leave the money in for a period of time. So, and in fact, if you get a mortgage, you're gonna agree to pay back the mortgage company over a 25-year period. If you break that mortgage and pay them off beforehand, then you have to pay a redemption fee.
Okay.
Right. So I don't see there's anything wrong with that. But I mean, if you're saying you can take the money out any time and pay a redemption fee of 3%, then I would suggest that we could do something like invest for at least 18 months, because this is a fund, and then there's a redemption fee of X percentage if you take out before the 18 months, and that would be kind of let's say, I don't know, 8%. And if you take out at the end of 18 months, then it will be 3%. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here. I think that's a good conversation to have, because then it secures what we're building, right? And that's the purpose of it. And we're not there to keep people's money. We're going to give it back. It's not a Ponzi scheme. You can have the money back at any time. It's just that you will be penalised if you take it out prior to 18 months. And I think that helps us build security within building the fund. And consequently, if we're going to be follow or be kind of be sensible about it, we need to have a certain amount of capital that we can pay off people who want to exit within the 18 months. So we might have to set aside a float of, I don't know, 30%.
I see. All right. Okay. Mike, I am catching, I want to contribute to the pool of meaning of our discussion. Okay. As in crucial conversation, which is an observation I just had while this discussion is ongoing.
Sure.
I could see that you are coming from the perspective and audience of the more wealthy individuals, which are probably people you're talking to now. Okay, the doctors, the lawyers, who have some money who can put aside. I recognize I'm talking more from the poorer guys. Okay. So for their case, they will not or cannot like lock time. Okay, hold on a sec. Sorry, okay. I probably have to, they are cleaning up the place because it's a full...
I was going to say...
Yeah. But
they want you out today.
No. Yeah, so let me just finish it. However, okay, so this is the point. Okay, I can still chat. So let me just pack this. Okay, let me turn up the video for now. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. No worries.
Which is what happens is I think the the main fund was designed. Think about the homeless. Think about the $10 minimum. Okay, it's fully designed as a people fund, I think, from the beginning, but I guess the ironic thing is that I guess we do want to get the more wealthy individuals to join JCF. And I think all the things you've said, I think it makes sense for the more wealthy participants. Fully makes sense. Okay, makes total sense. So I'm also not against that. But so this is my suggestion though. Maybe we can start to perhaps have a more design fund that makes sense in terms of I guess from a wealthy investor's standpoint also, I guess even like a minimum amount to invest. And we can roll down basically as, the wealth fund, but maybe keep the main fund as it is now. Okay. And, maybe adopt a dollar averaging strategy, like for the bearish market part. but I think the idea is to still keep the main fund open and fluid and low barriered, while there can be other more I would say curated funds that potentially can offer better return. Because when you talk about people are willing to lock if they have guaranteed returns, well, currently we don't offer guarantees, and I don't think we ever want to, given the fund's nature. So that's kind of my current thinking. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
No, okay, look. I mean, it's important to talk through these things.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't suggest that I'm saying that this is the only way. I'm putting thoughts on the table. And I think genuinely though, okay, fine. So if there's no lock-in, if there's no tie-in, then I would strongly recommend that we have a mechanism that allows for a certain percentage to take the money out. Regardless of how much I put in, let's say I only put in $10. If I want my $10 back in a week's time,
right? I
want my $10. I'm only going to get $7 back, right?
Okay.
Because 3% is going to be the exit fee.
I see. Okay.
But I still want my $10 back.
Okay. All right.
And,
so right.
And if that's a percentage,
go ahead.
If there's 1,000 of me, what does that look like as a percentage of the total? All of these $10.
Right now we have a withdrawal fee of 2%. So now, yeah, if you withdraw anytime, it's 2% withdrawal fee right now. Yeah.
Okay. So, but that's fine. What happens? Where is the withdrawal fee at 2%? But again, what would that mean in real terms? If 30% of all the investors decided to withdraw, do you just simply take out a sufficient amount of money?
We simply allow them. Yes, actually, JCF doesn't have a bank run issue. As in, and the reason is that currently each JCF token is 100% collateralized. You see,
right?
It's 100% collateralized. So we are fully capable, and I think it's actually a good selling point for JCF, at least the main fund, is you can join anytime, you can leave anytime, right? And actually, I do feel that's also more in line with the whole crypto decentralized mentality. This is your stuff, you control however you like to manage it. Right. I don't think locking periods, locking are there for particular reasons and for some longer term strategies.
I get it. If it's 100% asset based, and then we're able to sit there and take their money, take the equivalent amount of crypto minus the 3%, 2% rather, and then cash it in and give it to them, then that's fine.
Right now JCF is fully capable of doing that.
Then we don't have to have a reserve.
We don't. Right now we don't.
Good.
Okay,
fine.
Right now what happens is, and this is also due to we are holding stable coins, because stable coins is part of the top 10, so it helps in that regard. Right now,
that's another reason to have them. Okay, fine. I get it. Okay.
Yeah. And even if the withdrawal rate has exceed, let's say the 20% stable coins, that we currently have, we can rebalance any time to allow more stable coin or even sell off assets to, provide return. So in that sense, JCF, is also very liquid in that sense. Yeah. So, okay. All right. So.
You're on the street now, so there's not really a good time to carry on talking.
Okay.
I just want to say, I think there's been I think today has been really, really, really very useful.
Yes.
On
it
Wednesday,
is. Same here.
I've got a conversation with the CEO of CoinPass, who are a UK-based exchange that are regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. And so I've asked 3 questions. I think I can't remember what they are now. what's it take to get registered? You know, could JCF be registered? Could it then leverage your legal kind of position, and then you know, are we able to tie this in with self-administered pension schemes or SASs? So it's going to, and it's basically, it's going to be a bit of a conversation just to get to know each other. If there's anything, if you have the time to just look at CoinPass and then tell me if there's any particular questions you want me to ask, then I've got that conversation at 2 p.m.
Okay.
on Wednesday.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Can you send that link to the Telegram also for the team to see it? Okay. Just make sure everybody can see it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll provide my feedback. And one takeaway from today, I think, is that we definitely should leverage the new wealth platform that's about to be ready, and see if we can actually make some, you know, private funds or specialized strategy funds from it, and maybe collaborating with others. You know, like it can be white label for other, I guess, other entities or funds they might want to build something, because we have a ready mechanism. So I think this is also something worth thinking about. Basically, going along the routes that we can provide a social dividend mechanism for, you know, private funds of different strategies, right? Suitable for more wealthy individuals, but we'll take, you know, a share, a chunk, or profit to support our operation in our sort of main social fund. Okay, so I think that's the kind of takeaway. Okay, will that be all right?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, think about it. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'll see you next on the Team Sync on Wednesday night. Then is that right?
Wednesday night. Yeah.
Not.
No.
Okay. You're on your way back, right?
To make that.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. All right.
Hopefully, I'll be able to make that one.
Okay, but no worries if you cannot. Okay, just drive safely, and you know, enjoy your coach session. That's the most important. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Cheers then. Bye bye.
Bye bye.